All right, shalom, shalom. First off, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushai by Hashem, Rakakadash, giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in both truth and sincerity, all the men and the women who follow. To the brother Christ is out from the fountain of living waters, coming back at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of excuse me of Yahweh by Shem Yahshai. This lesson being entitled ICE is using propaganda to push their wicked agenda. All right, and I have this commercial that I seen on television recently, and I'll let it play, and we'll go from there. What is the edifying video?
Attention law enforcement. You took an oath to protect and serve. To keep your family, your neighborhood safe. But in too many cities, dangerous illegals walk free as police are forced to stand down. Join ICE and help us catch the worst of the worst. Drug traffickers, gang members, predators. Join the mission to protect America with bonuses up to $50,000 and generous benefits. Apply now. Join.ice.gov and fulfill your mission.
Right. So
Attention law
when you
enforcement.
check it out, it tells the police are here to protect and serve, but they can't do that because uh, there are so-called illegal people walking around, which I don't see how. Here they go. ICE has apprehended registered, you know, next offender. Offenses include um, violence against, children. It says arrested 538 illegal immigrants, including those with violent crime convictions. ICE arrested 350 gang members, including convicted murderers and child predators. Arrested 5 illegal aliens convicted of violent crimes. Allegedly, alleged serial criminal nabbed. Alleged member of the Trin Ruga gang. No, I butchered that. But so they're trying to say that they're catching all these criminals or whatnot. Well, what about the good people that you have lumped in here? What about the people who are naturalized citizens, the people who are slipping between the cracks, and eventually these people are going to be used to come against actual American citizens? Because, like it said, let's let it play a little bit. And this is the propaganda that they're pushing. Matter of fact, let's get that word propaganda real quick. So propaganda, originally it's a committee of cardinals in charge of foreign missions for the Catholic Church. But when you go down to the breakdown of the word, it's the feminine uh, gruative of Latin propaganda, which is to set forward, to extend, to spread, or to increase. And what is being set forward? What is extending? What is spreading? What is increasing? The word of mouth of how ICE get down, and that they need people to help them get down, and how you can get paid to help them get down. That's what they're spreading. It says, hence, any movement or organization to propagate someone or to propagate some practice or ideology. So the ideology is there's a lot of uh, rogue citizens, people who aren't supposed to be here, and the practice is to get them out of here. And we need you. It's a call to action. Come help us. You can get $50,000 bonus and this, that, and the third. But look when they say who they're trying to get. They want the worst of the worst, right? And it goes to drug traffickers, gang members, predators, right? So, I just wanted to show how this can be used against, definitely, first and foremost, us in its truth, how they can turn the tables on us and use, just these words. They can use ICE to say, we're going after gang members, we're going after drug traffickers, or we're going after predators. So first, dealing with the whole brother Polite, you know, starting with Apostle Tahar on down, you know, saying that we're going to deal with younger women in the kingdom, and that it's in the scriptures. When a woman has passed her flower, that let's just get it real quick. I believe it says flower of her age. Yeah. First Corinthians chapter 7 and 36 it says, "But if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely toward his virgin, if she passed the flower of her age, if she's had her period, and need so require, let him do what he will, he sinneth not, let them marry." So if a woman has been, on her menstrual, past her menstrual, then she's old enough and eligible for marriage, for which sex is marriage. See what that says in NLT real quick. It says, "But if a man thinks that he is treating his fiancée improperly and will inevitably give in to his passion, let him marry her as she wishes is not a sin." That's not a good translation. But so that's one way, they can say that, that we're predators because, just the same way Polite and, all the other bitch ass niggas, I just call it spade a spade, and all those other bitch ass niggas who accused us of, improper conduct, when we just stating what the scriptures state, you know. But that's the way that they can get us as a predator. Um, but uh, let me see. So they can't get us as drug trafficking, but as a gang member, that's something different. But I do want to just visit the drug trafficking because in drug trafficking, remember they're looking for the worst of the worst, right? There's something called a RICO statute. Now, a RICO statute, or Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, is a U.S. federal law enacted in 1970 to combat organized crime by targeting criminal enterprises. Now, if they consider you in a camp as or your camp to be a criminal organization or a criminal enterprise, then they can hit you with the RICO status, which they would say like and this is from like The Wire, you had the boss Avon, and then you had Stringer Bell, and then he had his chief enforcer Weebay, and then everybody on this level. Then you had Stinkum and Bodie, and all the other the lower soldiers. You know what I mean? But that's the same way like a camp is run. Like you would have you know, just for example, like an apostle Tahar, and then you'd have the other apostles, and then everybody has like you'll have the elders, you know, that were still there from One West, and then you have the camp leaders from all the states, and then their top men, and then they're all and you can hit them with the Rico and then get everybody. That's how you can. That's how they'll play it. You'll have Nate right here for the IUIC, and then uh, whoever his panel is, and so on and so forth. Same thing with ISUPK. You have the commanding general, and then you'd have his name is escaping me right now. Y'all know who I'm talking about from ISUPK doing all the videos. Light skinned guy with the braids. Why is his name escaping me right now? Dang. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Um, but it's the same structure. You know, they can use that RICO statute on whatever to say they come down on free speech, or whatever they do, they can use the RICO to say that we're violating that. All right, but then also I want to get into, like I said, uh, the gang members, right? Because you can also say, kind of say that we're a gang. If you're in a camp, you're in a gang. Well, what does the U.S. government consider a gang? A U.S. government body broadly defines a gang. Broadly defines a gang as a group of three or more people who adopt an identity, use common symbols like names, signs, or tattoos, and engage in criminal activity to gain power, territory, or economic resources. Now they could try to say, well, you know, you put ISUPK in front of your name, you're part of a gang, and just like somebody named Jonathan, his hood name might be J Money. Well, okay, well, Larry, you're now Ayathun, so that's your gang name. It, you guys are uh, spreading hate and this, that, and the third, and uh, threatening people over. Who knows what they'll come with, But they can use all of that to. As a matter of fact, let's just grab the scripture, Isaiah 59:19. So they shall fear the name of the Lord from the west, and the glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Right. So they can use ICE. They can use these, this mission that they have to take down the men of the Lord, and that's the real goal. That's the real goal. John 15:18 says, "If the world hated you, know that it hated me before it hated you. And if you were of the world would love its own. But because you're not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you." Yeah, so because we're not going along with the get along, you know, because we're separate, holy, separated. We don't get the world, the world don't get us. So guess what? The world gonna come get us, and this is how Esau is gonna come get us. That's why he's uh, recruiting people for the mission, because they're gonna have to have a large force to take down so many people. You know, not even just speaking about the truth, but people outside of the truth. You know, they want to get rid of Jake. Period. You know, let's get this last scripture, and we'll end it with this. It says Luke 21:12. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And we do this word, we push this truth, we tell people what's going on and blow the horn for the Lord's name's sake. For the through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. So because we're praising the Lord, because we, put the Lord's name on our back, because we want to, get salvation, and we have to uh, make our body a living sacrifice. This is part. This is what comes with it. They're going to persecute us. They're going to come down on us, and that's fine. We understand that, because the Lord is going to lift up that, like we read, the Lord's going to lift up that standard. Okay, once they touch the apple of the Lord's eye, you know, let's go. All hell's gonna break loose. All right, men are gonna be changed. The spiritual powers are gonna be, um, given to those who have earned it, and it's gonna be the end of the world. When I say the end of the world, I mean the end of America, Babylon. They're gonna shoot their missiles on America, Babylon. The elect's gonna be saved, and into a chariot, and America's going to be destroyed. But before all of that, they got to come down on the men of the Lord, and I believe that's one thing that these ICE agents are gearing up for. So Lord's word is edifying, and with that being said, we all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakar giving double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect. Saki, the honors bear with me. The elders and apostles of GMS who taught me his truth. Uh, salutes and honors to all the elect brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity. Yes, shalom.